Well, each week, a group of insiders joins me to offer perspective on some of the week's top stories. This week, sounding off on two vacant, decaying manufacturing plant sites targeted for world-class downtown destinations in Indiana. More funding flowing into Indy's tech scene, and the Pacers prepare for an unexpected playoff run. We'll see how deep that goes. Our insiders this week are Women's Fund of Central Indiana Executive Director Jennifer Pope Baker, also Winston Terrell Group Principal Robin Winston, and Short Strategy Group Chairman and CEO Frank Short. And welcome one and all to the insiders.
Thank you.
Another week. Frank, I'll start with you. On our top story, the old GM stamping plant site near downtown Indianapolis, a 100-plus acre site that's been vacant for a number of years, been the subject of a lot of attention and speculation what's going to happen. Ambrose Property Group, and full disclosure, they're a client of yours, but give us your take. They've closed on the deal now. They have big plans for that property. What can that become?
Well, I think the first thing it's going to become is a transformative property for this city. You know, it's going to complete and connect our downtown. You know, all over the country, we're going to talk about Fort Wayne and other parts of the country that you've seen, these live, work, play experiences. And, you know, before we went on, we talked about it's a 15-year project. That's 15 years worth of jobs, 15 years worth of development, 15 years worth of new homes, families moving in, et cetera, et cetera. Connects well up the river, makes the White River an asset, connects up to IUPUI, 16 Tech all the way. It just completes that west side of our downtown, and I think that's what makes it so transformative.
And Jennifer, as Frank said, it connects a whole new area of town, jumps the White River from downtown to start development there, but importantly for neighborhoods and communities in that part of the city that have, you know, you could make the case have been neglected for a long time.
Well, and the near west side, they've got great community supports from community centers and a lot of innovation in small businesses. You keep on going down Washington Street, it's small business after small business after small business. And so those folks are going to have an opportunity to participate in a new way when that's fully developed, either as workers or patrons or people who are just enjoying the White River in a new way and their community seeing some brightness there. Yeah,
and folks from Ambrose were on the show at the top of this week's show, and they talked a lot about connecting with those communities, connecting with the arts community, connecting with neighborhood groups and associations over there to really try to get input as they map this vision.
Well, I think that you're always going to have more success when the people who are in and near and impacted have the opportunity to share their voice and what they would like to see and the positive impact that can have on them.
Yeah, in terms of the kind of development this might be, Robin, they talk about a series of like 20-minute neighborhoods, which I think is interesting, being able to walk and do everything you need to do within 20 minutes. So it sounds like this development, whatever it becomes, will be unique and new to Indianapolis.
It will not. It won't be dormant anymore. It'll be a vibrant area, but also the residual of people being able to be back on Morris and Oliver, Harding, and streets back there, being able to get jobs and things related to this is going to be a big boon for the neighborhood too. So instead of hearing about sitting there and watching the development of Indianapolis and nothing happening in your neighborhood across the river, now it's coming to their side of the river and it's going to be a boon for that neighborhood.
Yeah, you spend a lot of time in your business dealings in Fort Wayne, and I think it's interesting, this massive live, work, play development here, 500 plus, probably a lot more than that, $1 million here. There's a $440 million development going on, attempting to get underway in Fort Wayne. The old General Electric campus up there that once employed, I think, 20,000. Looks like they're getting close to making it happen, going back and forth on funding, but that, again, potentially transformative for Fort Wayne.
Sure, that started with Graham Richard. Now Mayor Tom Henry has picked it up and is doing things with it now. They've got to be fiscally prudent to make sure that the money does match up. But if you go to Fort Wayne, I'm up there about every other week. If you go to Fort Wayne, you will see a vibrant downtown, baseball stadium down there, housing overlooking the stadium, a convention center that is regional in scope. Yeah. So it's a tremendous place.
Yeah, and the region up there really connected as well. Another development here in central Indiana in particular has been the increase in nonstop flights at Indianapolis International Airport. We saw a couple more take flight this week to tourist vacation destinations. But Jennifer, as you look at it, 50 plus nonstop flights now, a record for Indianapolis International to a lot of business destinations like San Francisco and Seattle and Austin, but these consumer driven destinations as well.
Well, I think it's important that they're following through on the promise they made in 2017, and that people have a place to go on vacation, right? So we have all the non-stops that we can use for our business, but now we do for vacation, so we're not driving. We're spending more time enjoying our families and our friends. And it puts us in the top 10 for non-stops at airports around the country, which is impressive for a city of our size.
And how about the asset that the airport is here? I mean, routinely, every year, the top airport in North America, and people rave about the airport. Sometimes maybe we take it for granted, but that's a real economic development asset, too.
It's a huge economic development asset. And then all of us, when we travel, when we go all over the country and all over the world, and we're in airports, it's easy to see why ours is the best.
Yeah. Frank, the tech scene continues to have momentum here in central Indiana. In particular, we saw 2 deals this week, Demand Jump and HC1.com, 2 tech companies getting between them $13 million in funding. There have been a number of tech acquisitions that have happened, not just here in central Indiana, but around the state as well. And that's translating into jobs and attention for Indianapolis, too.
Well, I think jobs and the attention might be the most important part, because other people are looking at it and deals are coming here. And people are finding investment. And there's a lot of other deals out there that you don't hear about that are smaller, less than $1 million. But I think it's jobs. We talked about higher education on this show a lot. People are getting to the point where they see there's jobs here. They don't need to leave. The brain drain is becoming the brain gain, hopefully.
I talk a lot about vibrancy. Go downtown and see just how much energy we have in our downtown. On a Friday night, on a Tuesday night, you're going to see the benefits of these firms bringing in a better caliber of person to live here. The word is going to go out that Indianapolis, much like Atlanta, had the slogan, "The city too busy to hate." You're going to see the same thing happen here, and I believe that you're going to see a continued upgrowth. The Mirror Awards will continue to expand, Tech Point will continue to expand, and things that years ago that you covered are now coming to the full culmination of what they talked about doing.
Tech Point, the Mirror Awards, in a couple of weeks, they had 900 was a record last year. This year, 1,300 capped out as well. So yeah, a good point there. The academic community, very supportive and very connected to the tech community as well. Frank, we saw more news from Purdue University late in the week here announcing another tuition freeze. But also last week, late in the week, there's not a lot of information out there on this, but Purdue confirming to us that they are making a bid to run Los Alamos, the nuclear lab in New Mexico. That's a big deal potentially.
It's a big deal. I think Purdue has a history of working with the government, produced more astronauts than any university in America. NFL quarterbacks and astronauts are what Purdue produces. But I think, it's another example of Mitch Daniels being progressive, reaching back to his contacts, working with his friends at Bechtel to say, Purdue can do this. And you don't need MIT, and you don't need Stanford. Right here in Indiana, we got one of the leading research universities in this area, and they're going to make a bid at it. And, I would be surprised. Don't count them short. I mean, I would not count them out.
Yep.
The reverse of that is that Bechtel knows that Mitch Daniels is at Purdue, and they know the kind of caliber of person that he is and what they've been able to put together there, and they know that Purdue has extreme standards of admission and keeping students in there. So the kind of students that will come out of there, kind of people that come out of there, kind of staff that come out of there are perfect for this project.
Yeah, very good. As we wrap up, I always like to talk about sports. And Jennifer, you have been waiting to talk about the Pacers because I know you are a sports fan. What do you think?
I think it's really exciting.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the year, Coach McMillan had 10 new players. Nobody thought they'd hit 30. And look where they are now. We've got Victor Oladipo. Everybody was excited to have him in Indiana playing for the Pacers,
And
but nobody thought he'd be most improved player.
That's right. No, everybody's complaining about the Paul George trade, and look at what we got.
Right,
and,
we won.
So we're playing LeBron again.
So hopefully we get them second, Philadelphia first.
Playing Cleveland starting this weekend. It's going to be Cleveland.
It's going to be Cleveland.
Yeah, it's going to be
It
Cleveland.
is Cleveland.
Yeah. What do you think, Frank?
We beat them 3 out of 4 times this year.
There you go.
Last year, the 4 games when we lost, it was by a total of less than 20 points. LeBron's a great player, but I think we have a better team chemistry.
Robin?
Telling thing was during trade time, they said, don't trade. We have a good team. We can put a good nucleus together.
Right.
They wanted to be a team. And that was, you said that early on the show a long time ago, that they are playing like a team. And I see that they're playing like a team, and I believe they're going to win.
Jennifer, predicting an upset?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. We'll leave it on that. Jennifer Polk Baker, Robin Winston, also Frank Short. Thank you all. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Guy.